My esteemed brother, Dr. Krishnaraj, respected Sri Lakshmi Narayan, dear Mr. Sivakumar, office bearers of YICTAC Youth Summit, young delegates, Vanakkam, Namaskaram, good morning to all of you. We just heard two brilliant presentations on leadership, the state of the nation, and what is the future, and what are the challenges before us. At the time of independence, 70 years back, the architect of the Indian Constitution, Dr. Ambedkar, said, by getting independence, we have lost the opportunity of blaming the British government for what is happening or what is not happening. Now, whatever is going to happen, we have to take full responsibility. Mr. Lakshmi Narayan so brilliantly presented the achievements. Dr. Krishnaraj said about our past glory, and also what is the potential and the promises that is lying before us. You know Sakshi, who got the bronze medal, she is the daughter of a bus conductor. Sindhu, of course, is great. I know the family also. Sakshi is the daughter of a bus conductor. Her mother is an Anganwadi worker. You can know what is the earning capacity. Perhaps she would not have had even nutritious from her childhood. No opportunities. Today, of course, crores of rupees are coming all glory. But till she came to this stage, what made it possible for her is own as faith in herself and the determination, I will achieve something. And that too took up a sport which is not meant for women, those days. But she was never discouraged because our own commitment and faith in herself and determination. Here, I would like to emphasize on the importance of health. You are all leaders, because health is the most important factor. Health is wealth. Very often when we get busy with our own work, either as an entrepreneur or as a senior executive, you say, I don't have time. How can I? Where is the time for me to do yoga or fitness or health? I am talking about the most fundamental thing because by the middle age, people are complaining, doctors are telling, we got a backache, tension, depression, all sorts of diseases. Because unless we are healthy, we will not enjoy life. Instead of being an asset to the family, become a liability to the family, to the society and the nation. Wherever I go and speak about it, they say, sir, where is the time? We are so busy. I had a long conversation with Mr. Narendra Modi just a month before he became Prime Minister of India. It was in Ahmedabad, in the Chief Minister's new office. I had about 70 minutes long conversation on many matters. Then I asked him, sir, Chief Minister's job is a full-time job. And you are a perfectionist. You want everything to be done perfectly. Now you also become the Prime Ministerial candidate of the opposition party, BJP at that time. You have to keep traveling. India is not a country, it's a continent. You have to keep traveling all the time. How are you going to handle both the jobs at the same time? Where will you find the energy and enthusiasm? This is what I asked. He said, Kaarthikeyan, I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. 90 minutes of yoga, pranayama, meditation. Without that, I don't start the day. That is the first charge on my day of 24 hours. He said, I've been doing it from my younger days, so I don't know what fatigue is. Come at 10 o'clock in the night, you will see in my office here, or in the home office, I will be in the districts. I wrote about that art immediately also in a Farmer's magazine before he became Prime Minister also. You have seen it when he went to America. It was in Navratra time, he observes the fast. 10 programs a day. The whole focus of the world was on him. So an English paper reported That is, at the end of the tour, the last evening, the American president hosts the dinner in honor of the visiting prime minister. He was sipping some juice or water or something. Everybody is enjoying lavish food. That paper said, President Obama asked him, how could he do this? Because they all knew that he was fasting. He said, yoga. And Obama said, I will also start practicing yoga. And I believe he does practice yoga. So what I'm saying is, nobody can say that we are too busy, that we cannot take care of our health. The most fundamental thing. So then only you can think of doing whatever it is. But let me first compliment TICTAC. But this organization is amazing because I never knew about this organization. But from the time they have been corresponding with me, perfect correspondence, immediate reply, persuasion. And when you come here, the arrangements are so excellent. And I admire the leadership of this TICTAC first. So this is the ideal organization to speak about leadership. So you're all fortunate to be invited to be joining them because you see every point, right from the welcome dance or welcome song, everything is so perfectly organized. So I have great admiration for this organization. So, of course, the qualities are all everything known that we have to maintain, learn to maintain discipline, decorum, dignity, and all that. You know, for the many teachers are here. Dr. Krishna Jivanavara said about the type of education we are giving. You know, President Abraham Lincoln, hardly educated, he had very little of education, became one of the most celebrated presidents of America in spite of that. But then he wrote a letter to his teacher of his son. He said what type of education he wants the teacher to give to his son. He said, I quote just from he says, my dear teacher, will you please take him by his hand and teach him things he will have to know. Teach him that for every enemy there is a friend. He will have to know that all men are not just, but all men are not true. But teach him also that for every scoundrel there is a hero. That for every crooked politician there is a dedicated leader. He said, teach him, I'm telling you because there's so much of corruption in the country, which is bringing us down. Otherwise, it would have been far ahead of many other nations here. He says, teach him that 10 cents earned is far more value than a dollar found. And that is a hard work earning. It is far more honorable to fail than to cheat. See, these are the things you should learn because we all look for shortcuts. How to become something by doing wrong things. Some of them are in jail today. Hopefully, Mr. Narendra Modi, who has become a very popular Prime Minister, will teach this, doesn't pay, cheating, committing fraud, will not pay. There's only hope for the nation for him. Teach him to learn how to gracefully lose and enjoy winning when he does win. When Dr. Abdul Kalam released my book on the investigation of Rajiv Gandhi, he had read the entire book. He said, please take out this particular page. I took the page, please read that para because that is also philosophy of life. Because if you want to do something in life, we have to work. He says you have to take the risk also. If you don't want to fall, then you have to keep lying down or sitting down. When you fall, there is a remote possibility of, faltering somewhere. But he says, start running. If you have to run all the time like I had to do in my case against all odds, I said, yet we did fail one or two places. But if we did not want to take the risk of falling, I would have done nothing in my life. He said, that's what happened in life also. So failures will come. When you want to attempt any new thing, there will be failures. Because they say, when your statue comes perfectly, great masters have said that, 999 times I failed. Scientists also have said this. But the last chip, the statue emerges, the success comes. He said, I have not failed 999 times. I have learned how I can fail 999 times. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, everything is not going to be always successful for us. That doesn't mean you should not take risks. Any new ventures, you have to risk, reasonable risk, do not give. And he also, Abraham Lincoln told the teacher, teach him to be gentle with people, tough with tough people. He didn't study much, very poorly educated American president, but what type of education he wants the teacher to be his son, that's what we should also do. He says, steal him away from envy and teach him the secret of quiet laughter. Envy is a very dangerous disease. So, citizens are entitled to demand from you, you are going to be leaders. First of all, morality and ethics. We have to be examples. We can't tell others to behave in such a way. They follow the leaders. Dr. Abdul Kalam is celebrated. I used to tell him in his presence also, he was not the greatest scientist of his times. There are scientists who are equally good or even better. But he was celebrated. The whole nation followed him, admired him because of his character, integrity, simplicity, patriotism, and his concern for the nation and his love of the youth. Wherever you go, normally in the north, I go all over the country, if you don't speak Hindi, well, they don't really care very much for you. But he never spoke Hindi. You go to Assam, UP, Bihar, anywhere, when he left the body, there were posters all over the streets. No political party, but people on their own because they admired him for his character and qualities and all that. Mahatma Gandhi, again, had no guns or money, but he had the power to move hundreds of millions of people. He had the trust, and they walked behind him because he had the moral courage, transparent integrity, and commitment to the cause and non-violence. Again, Dr. Kalam, as I mentioned, integrity, hard work, simplicity, humility, compassion. Some of the episodes you tell in my association with you, you'll be surprised. How can the man be so simple? You go to his house, I used to go in his house. People who come to power, corporator, MLA, you see what's happening. He was president, he was a great scientist, Bharat Ratna, even before he became president. President of India for so many years. The house, such a simple life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, teamwork. Nothing can be achieved by ourselves alone. It is a teamwork. I would like to quote here the famous American philanthropist, Andrew Carnegie. I quote him, teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, the ability to direct individual accomplishments towards organizational objectives. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. So, responsibility. We want to become leaders, you will be willing to take responsibility. You have to take sometimes, in my own life I'm telling you, during the investigation of Rajiv Gandhi assassination, my team was at Vedaranyam, Kudiyakarai. One person who was arrested, Shanmugam, for no fault of the team, he quietly escaped and committed suicide. Well, naturally, we knew that the blame will be on us. The Union Home Minister came, Mr. Chauhan came all the way from Delhi and took me only. We went to the place, he wanted to know what happened because the next day Parliament was in session, they are going to make a lot of noise there. And after that, he knew there was no fault on the part of the team. But on my way back, on the helicopter, only me and the Home Minister, before landing, Mr. Kaarthikeyan, we have to face the Parliament tomorrow. Please suspend all the officers who are on the scene. I said, sir, what for? Because Shanmugam died. Shanmugam escaped and died and committed suicide. I asked the Tamil Nadu police to investigate. If they find the fault is ours, I will suspend all of them. I said, no, there is no fault. 2 days they were without sleep and food, they were working. And no academy, neither CBI nor police academy teaches for investigations concerned how to collect intelligence, how to do operations and all that. Here we have done it on their own, beyond the call of duty. He said, but how will I face the Parliament? At least suspend the lower. I said, no, not a constable I will suspend. I said, I take full responsibility. I said, you can tell them the SIT chief has taken full responsibility and he quits or whatever you want to do. I am not going to suspend, I am not tolerate. Landed in Delhi, in Madras airport, the press surrounded him. He said, no, everything is fine. They are doing a good job and went. But I knew they are going to make a statement in the parliament suspending somebody. So I rang up my director and told him, I said, sir, this is what happened. If a statement is made suspending anybody, I want to tell you I will quit. I didn't ask for the job. On being requested, persuaded, I have taken it up because nobody else were willing to take it up. It came on record, I have written my book also. So my officers were very grateful. I said, no, that is my, you have to take responsibility. You want to take responsibility of the credit, something going wrong. If they are at fault, all right, just for, you can't do that. So the world is in a crisis, and 70 years of independence. A lot has been done. But you see, states, countries much worse than us at the time. How much of progress they have made? Whether it's corruption or development or poverty or illiteracy. Think of Singapore, Hong Kong, they have gone far ahead of us. Why is it we have not gone? See, there's a time for reflection because, as Swami Vivekananda has said that, there very little analysis or research done on Vivekananda as a leader. I just want to quote from him. He said, he wrote a letter to Maharaja of Mysore in June 1894. He said, I quote, the one thing that is at the root of all evils in India is the condition of the poor. The only service to be done for our lower classes is to give them education to develop their lost individuality. That is the great task between our people and princes. Up to now, nothing has been done in the direction. Priest power and foreign conquest have trodden them down for centuries. And at last, the poor of India have forgotten that they are human beings. How my heart ached to think of what we think of the poor, the low in India, Swami says. They have no chance, no escape, and no way to climb up. So, unless we are able to remove the problems of the neglected people, we cannot be proud as a nation. And we cannot deal with extremism also. People who cannot go and talk to morals and spiritual principles to people who are starving. So visionary Vivekananda had two separate visions, national and global. At the national level, his vision was to uplift the Indian masses materially with the help of an education that was tempered with the flavor of Indian spiritual heritage. He expressed his global vision in the World Parliament of Religions in these words. He says, Hinduism will be a religion which will have no place for persecution or intolerance in its polity, which will recognize divinity in every man and woman, and whose whole force will be created in aiding humanity to realize its own true divine nature. So what I'm saying is, we have to be broad-minded. No question of caste, color, creed, and all these things. We accept everybody. So leadership of vision, truth and truth action presupposes an inner shift from qualification to education. What I can get to what I can give. Self-centered success to selfless accomplishments. Teaching and studying to learning and realization. Indifference and inaction to bold initiative and decisive action. Casualness and mediocre approaches to an indomitable urge to excel. Reward-induced limited motivation to limitless self-motivation. Excuses and escapism to accountability and taking charge. Policed discipline to principle-bound self-discipline. Service and means of life to serving and meaning to life. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that go placidly amid the noise and haste. Remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, be on good terms with all persons. You can't be chummy with everybody, there's no time, but there's no need to hate anybody. Don't create any enmity. If you can't go along with people, keep away from them, but don't hate because, science says anger, jealousy, ego, resentment is the cause of cancer. It is a cause of cancer. Your angry word may not affect the other person, but certainly it causes damage to you. It is scientifically proved. So enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interest in your career, however humble. It is not what you do. It's not what you do. How well you do it, it's important. Every job is equally important. The Chinese thinker Confucius says, if the ruler, if the people down below you see it an upright, strong, compassionate towards the leader, they would reciprocate his honor by being honorable citizens. One mother, I would like to quote Mother Teresa. It was there on the wall of her home for children. This is a lesson for all of us, because unless we become normal, good human beings, there is no question of becoming leaders. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered, but forgive them anyway. Forgiveness quality is the most important quality in our life. Forgive ourselves. We also do wrong things, say wrong things sometimes by misunderstanding. So forgiveness is the most important quality to be a good human being. Only a good human being can be a good leader. People are often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you. Be honest and sincere anyway. What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight, but create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous, but be happy anyway. The good you do today will often be forgotten, but keep doing good anyway. Give the best you have, and it will never be enough. Give your best anyway. In the final analysis, St. Francis says, it is between you and the God. It was never between you and them anyway, and all that. So again, Tagore says, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where the words come out from the depth of truth. So he says, such a world let us all create now. So before we aspire to be good leaders, we have to become good human beings. While we have any number of poems and slokas in our Indian literature, I would like to quote from the prayer of Saint Francis of Assisi. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow peace, love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. So, again, before I close, I would like to quote a British historian, Arnold Toynbee, who said, civilization is on trial in our country also. The greater our material power, the greater is our need for spiritual insight and virtue. Freedom can be a curse if it is misused. Technology can be a curse if it is misused. The human heart has to change if we are going to have peace. Socrates said, you should become the kind of person that you would like other people to think that you are. The father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, gave to the leaders of this country what is came to as talisman. Leaders means not necessarily political leaders. Leaders at all levels, leaders like you and me. He says, I'll give you a talisman. Whenever you are in doubt, or when the self becomes too much with you, apply the following test. Recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man or woman whom you may have seen, and ask yourself, if the step you are contemplating, if the action you are going to take is to be of any use to him or her, will he or gain anything by it? Will it restore him or her to control over his or her life and destiny? In other words, will it lead to freedom and happiness for the hungry and the spiritually starving millions now? He also called what is called 7 deadly sins, which every one of us, right from the highest to the lowest, should adopt. That is, politics without principles, wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, and worship without sacrifice. One quotation, well, the Chinese, they say it's our ancient sayings, but Dr. Abdul Kalam repeated it everywhere. When you meet him personally, or hundreds of thousands of times repeated. That is, again, talking about what our earlier brilliant speaker said, character, righteousness. Where there is righteousness in the heart, he said there is beauty in the character. When there is beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is order in the nation, there is peace in the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, to become good leaders, let us become good human beings, values, right attitudes, patriotism, hard work, integrity, these are the most important things. I'm sure all of you are going to transform this country when you grow and come into positions of occupied power. Thank you. Namaskar.